Hello everyone, this is Jitender Chaudhary, Assistant Professor in Ghaziabad College, Department of Management. Today I am here to present a video lecture on steps of research methodology, which is a part of BBA uh, fourth semester subject. So before moving to the steps of research process, first we understand what do you mean by research. So if we talk about the research is nothing but how the creation of new knowledge and the knowledge of the existing era, how you generate the new concept or the methodology, or you can say how the understanding is gone. So basically in the research process we pass through the certain major steps. Every step is important in your own affecting values, right? So we have a series of steps in which we do the research process. If you are doing any kind of research, whether it is the inductive research or the deductive research, every field of research need a common steps and the common things which is related to your research topic. So we understand how the this process happen, or we can say the what are the steps. So these are the steps you have to take. First one is define the research problem. Then we go for the review of literature, formulating the hypothesis. Then we develop the research design. After that, we determine the sample design, the collection of data, execution of project, and analysis of data. And last one is generalization and the interpretation. So these are the steps we will discuss in detail. What are one by one steps? So our first step is the defining the problem. You know, this is the one of the important requirement in the foundation step of the research. Work with the identifying the problem. So there are so many variety where you can identify the problem. So right, basically this is the two kind of way in you can define your problem. First is basic uh, basic dissemination tactics, and another one is advanced dissemination tactics. First we understand what are the things which is come under the basic dissemination. Basically the research reports and the summary of the findings or the material articles, which is basically you can read the journals or the magazines and the report, press release, reference material like library and the website. When you are identifying your problem by these methods, or you can say the basic dissemination tactics, you can identify your problem. Another way where you can identify your problem is your advanced dissemination tactics, in which we first see the any kind of press conferences, professional conferences, verbal feedback for the contribution, meetings, first qualification and post qualification courses. These are the way you can understand your basic problem. So the first and very important process step is your defining the problem. So in this research process, defining the study will be based on the research problem, maybe something the agency identify as a problem. So knowledge or information or any kind of problem. Now I can tell you the problem maybe in the statement form or maybe in the situation, and the combination of both. It's totally depend upon you which combination you want to identify. After that, in your research problem, first you need to identify the problem. Then you must, scanning the existing environment. And how will you scan your environment? Basically, it's a process, basically, by the imply examining the internal and the external factors, basically, of the any kind of organization or the company in which you want to do your research. So where we will identify the sample area, nature of the sample, respondent, and spend, what are the things which is very important to that particular, segment, right? So another and the very important aspect is this: when the problem is come, you must be come in the statement forms, right? And it will identify where you want to do your research. And second one is your review literatures. What is review literature is basically which kind of topic you are selecting now. What are the already research have been done on that particular topic. So by reading that research, literature review, you are identifying the, way which kind of methodology are they are using, which kind of theories they are using, and what will be helpful for our, research purpose. So basically the surveys of literature, getting more information, sources of information regarding the problem. These are the things you must understand by your, you know uh, review of literature. So we have the various kind of review of literature where you can, you know go with the, authentic source of review literature, right? Don't go with the, which are not authentic, right? So when we are going for the literature review, must read the journal which is authentic, right? And another step is formulating the hypothesis. Basically, after the literature survey or researcher, should stay the work in hypothesis in clear terms. So hypothesis should be very specific and limited to the piece of research, because is has to be tested. The role of the hypothesis, you must know about the what are which kind of hypothesis you are choosing. So basically, the, derivation of the suitable hypothesis goes hand in hand with the selection of the research problem. Hypothesis can be, basically in the statement that is temporarily accepted as a true or the beginning of each research, right? This uses a basic for the action and the research, right? So we have, basically two hypotheses. One is null hypothesis and another is alternative hypothesis, in which null hypothesis is basically the significant impact, which is known as, which you are expecting to be, true. And another one is your null, alternative hypothesis, which you can say what are the factors which is not significantly impacting. So these kind of, things you must understand in this, uh, formulating the hypothesis. Another one is, develop the research plan and design. How will you design? That is very important. The next step is the process of research work is, designing a research approach, which kind of approach you are going to be done after your, formulating hypothesis. So you will see here expected cost of conducting research, or cost benefit, which kind of the benefit you are going to be done, or the value of advantage expected from the research, or proposed cost needed, which is mandatory requirement for the planning the research work, right? uh, After identifying the research design, you must plan for your sample design, right? So how you will, sample design will be, uh, you know do. These are the methods in which you can, choose your sample design. One is your random sampling, where you are picking randomly, by defining your, target population, you are choosing randomly, right? In systematic sampling, we define some number. You are picking the people in the odd number, in the even number, or on the basis of gender, on the basis of their qualification, on the basis of their earning. So this is your systematic, sampling. In quota sampling, what we do, we have some specific, certain certain exempted things in which you are not selecting all the, but in some, we can say, in some prospectory, or in some slot you are selecting in the quota sampling, right? That is very important part of your, designing your sample. So in this, you must know about your the sampling unit, your sample size, or what will be the process of your sampling size, right? So basically, we have another way to cluster area sampling in the population divided into mutually exclusive group, and the researchers drawn the, sample, right? So after that, the next step is very important as, step for the, research process, is your collection of data. You must know about how will be the data will be collected, whether on the basis of your primary or whether on the secondary, right? So we have the various source of data. One is your primary and another is the secondary. In primary, something new which is newly generated data, which is generated first time. This is your primary data, and the secondary data is which data is already generated, but you are using that particular data for your further research. So this is your, the way you can collect your data. And in this collection of data, you must aware about the research approaches, which kind of approaches you are going to do. So basically, you are doing on the basis of observational research, or you are doing on the focus group research, or whether you are doing your research on the survey research, or the behavior research, or the experimental research. These are the, you must know in this step. See, this kind of research will be done on the basis of these kind of things. After that, which kind of instrument you are going to use in your collection of data, that is very important. How you will, generate your data. It may be, it may be your the questionnaire based, your schedule based, recording through the audio visual device, mail questionnaire, postal inquiry, telephonic interview, face to face interview. These kind of the things for the primary data you can use. And the secondary data, you can collect the information from the website, journal, magazines, government website, international organization website, or the reports of particular organization you can do, right? After that, you must, executing the project. How the project is executed, that is very important. Before that, executing your project, you, whatever the data you have collected, just, tabulation of that particular data, execution of data or the information in the correct manner, so that that will helpful for the determining the things, right? So execution of data, how you are testing your, testing your hypothesis, whether it is, you know whether it is suitable for you or not. So these are the things in which you can understand your, what, which kind of test you are going to do for your collection of data. You are using the t test, f test, chi test, jet test. These are the tests you can apply on that particular problem by after the collecting the data. So these are the things you must know in this. How you will analyze the data in the tabular form or the pie chart form, coding. These are the things you must know about it, and you must know about how we can find the mean, mode, median, standard deviation. It's kind of very important part, the analyzing of data depending upon the problem, which kind of problem you are facing, right? After that, the generalization of interpretation, where we use the various kind of test, chi test, f test, and the t test. So these are the tests in which you can, analyze your data, right? And the very important part is your report writing or the thesis. before moving to report writing and thesis, why the need of this kind of report writing and the thesis is basically, if a research paper or the project is sponsored by the some funding agency, then the researcher has to present the detail of the study. The report is to be presented in the prescribed format. If suppose you are doing your research for your further study, for the higher academic study, so it may be for your MBA, it may be for your PhD, it may be for your MPhil or MTech, BTech, MCA, whatever, whatever the academic background you are having. So you must prepare your research report or the thesis basically. So in research report or the thesis, we have basically three basically main three body you must follow. First is preliminary page, in which you will include the title page, declaration, certificate, executive summary, preference, content, list of table, list of figure, and the abbreviations. So this come under the category of preliminary pages. And another one is your main tags. In main tags, we will define the we will mention the introduction part, main chapters, core chapters, conclusion, and the references. This will be reflected in your main text. And the final and the end matter, which include the appendix, which is questionnaire, figures, photos, and whatever the suitable things you have already done in your research. So that is totally depend upon you, कि whatever the forms you want to represent, whatever in the forms you want to present your findings. It may be in your verbal forms, it may be in your written form. It's totally depend upon the topic and how you work on that particular topic. So that's these kind of step you must take in your research process. So we will meet soon in your next video. Thank you.